So, former Ferrari team boss Stefano Domenicali looks set to take over as CEO of Formula One, taking over, of course, from Chase Carey. Most likely that's going to happen ahead of the 2021 season, so probably starting the role in January of next year. So, I thought we'd take a quick look in this video at what kind of guy he is. What are the pros and cons of that appointment? What does it mean for Formula One? What does it mean for Liberty? And what will the reaction be of Formula One fans around the world? So the first thing to say is he's one of the nicest guys to ever grace the Formula One paddock. That's a genuine reaction. That's my reaction, having worked against him as the opposition when he was running Ferrari, of course, and I was at McLaren. We came into contact a number of times and he was nothing but nice to me, even though we were fierce rivals. He was a team boss, I was a lowly mechanic, but he always had time to stop and say hello and have a chat. Since then, I've interviewed him a number of times in the media role. I've had him on as a guest on shows with Sky Sports. He is genuinely a lovely, lovely bloke. Always got a massive grin on his face, always down for a laugh. He's a down-to-earth guy. He will make people smile, he will make people happy. Is that what we want, though, for the guy running the sport? Well, let's look at the pros and cons to all this, first of all, because if you're Liberty Media, you put in a guy who has a motor racing background. He is very well respected throughout the Formula One world, throughout that paddock. The people that he will be dealing with on a daily basis, so other team principals, other major stakeholders in the sport, will all already have a huge amount of respect for him for his motor racing heritage, something that Chase Carey simply didn't have. Chase Carey came into the sport, nobody knew who he was, what his background was, what his strengths and weaknesses were. Did he understand the sport that he'd just been parachuted into? No one's going to have those questions when it comes to Domenicali. If you're a team, what do you think about this appointment? Well, I think most teams will be pleased for that very reason. They've got somebody at the head of the sport who they know understands this sport right through from top to bottom. For them, that's a real advantage, having somebody that's working on the same level as them. I guess when it comes to the tough side of running Formula One, the negotiating side, well, a big part of that has already been done by Chase Carey. Chase has been through perhaps one of the most difficult scenarios in getting all 10 teams to agree and sign up to a new Concord agreement. So that part of the job is done for now. That doesn't mean that it's going to be an easy ride for Domenicali when he comes in, because it won't be. Formula One is never an easy ride, and there is always something going on where the teams have one opinion, Formula One as a sport will have another. The TV companies have another side of things. The commercial side, the sponsors will all have a view on this. The FIA, the fans. Domenicali will have to balance all of that when he's taking Formula One forward into the future. That's not going to be easy. Is he a tough enough guy to wipe that smile that's always off on his face, take that away? And is he tough enough to go into that negotiating room and come out with what he wants, what's best for Liberty, which is, of course, what his role will entail? Is he brave enough, bold enough to take on the likes of the Toto Wolffs of this world, the other team principals, the other managing stakeholders of some of these world's biggest car manufacturers that will all be baying for blood in that negotiating room? He's definitely not a Bernie Ecclestone when it comes to that side of things. But he's also got some great people around him, hasn't he? He's got Ross Brawn to one side. He's got a team at Liberty who can back him up. He's got Greg Maffei above him, of course, as well, who will have his back. There is some power at play that he can lean on for that side of things. So there are clearly pros and cons to his appointment from within the motorsport world. It represents a very different change of direction for Liberty, as opposed to having one of their own in Chase Carey at the head of that investment and head of that sport. They're putting someone who's one of Formula One's own at the head of that role. That means there's a bit of a disconnect between Liberty and the Formula One side, if you like, whereas before that disconnect came between Liberty, which included Chase Carey, and then everyone else beneath that. So that shift in power balance has swung more towards Formula One. That could be an interesting dynamic at the top, the link between Stefano and, of course, the bosses at Liberty. It'll be interesting to see how that one goes. I think one of the most interesting sides to this, and I'm sure the one that you're already screaming at your screens right now, is that he's a former Ferrari team boss. And let's be quite frank about this. If we look at the people running our sport, both within Formula One, we've got Nick Tombasis, who is the head of the Single-Seater Commission, former Ferrari man. We've got Ross Brawn, of course, managing director of Formula One, former Ferrari man. We've now got Stefano Domenicali, former Ferrari team boss as well. And at the pinnacle of the FIA, we've of course got Jean Todt, although that appointment will not be for too much longer before he steps down and someone else takes over that role. But it's impossible to deny that we've got a number of very, very key, influential people running the sport that all used to be fairly key and influential at one of the sports teams, Ferrari. Now, if it wasn't Ferrari, I don't think there'd be quite the same fuss about it. But because it is Ferrari, the Ferrari haters will be jumping on this immediately to say, this is outrageous, because how can you run a fair sport when a massive number, a disproportionate number of the influential people at the top used to work for one of those competitors? Are they going to be biased towards Ferrari? Are they going to be influential towards Ferrari? And the truth and the answer to all of that is, of course, we can't really tell. But I would say, knowing what I know about Stefano Domenicali and what I know about Ross Brawn and others, I don't think that's actually an issue in reality at all. Of course, it's the first thing people jump on when there's a discussion around this kind of thing. But I don't think those people, the personalities of those people, will put their own position in jeopardy to favour a team that they once worked for. I genuinely believe that. The problem with all of this is going to be a problem of perception, because the very next time we have a controversy around Ferrari, whether that's a technical controversy like the big investigation into their power unit that happened at the end of last year, or whether it's something else around the new regulations, whether it's something around financial regulations moving forward, it could be anything that surrounds Ferrari in controversy. The outcome of that controversy will be subject to all of those people, thousands, hundreds of thousands of Formula One fans shouting, well, of course they're going to get away with it. It's Ferrari. Look who's running our sport. And that is perhaps one of the biggest problems. You can look at it and say, well, people can think what they like, and you can have that opinion. But when so many people have that opinion that can create such a negative wave of energy around a sport and around a team, I don't think it's good for Ferrari, and I don't think it's good for Formula One itself. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out, of course, but I think it's a really interesting appointment. I think it's going to have big impacts moving forward in terms of the way the sport is run, the way the negotiations and the power play at the top of the sport between the teams and the commercial rights holder, the way that plays out, I think is going to change as a result of this. But ultimately, I think it's a great appointment for Domenicali. I think it's a great business appointment for Formula One. I just have a huge question mark about how the perception of one of our sport's biggest stakeholders, the fans, will react to this. Let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this appointment. Good appointment, bad appointment, fair, not fair, just another example of those running the sport favouring one of its most historic teams. Let me know.